Surely this opening quote is not referring to Seabourn. No, perhaps Homer was referring to flying from London to Barbados in economy. But he was wrong, because although I travelled far, I did not enjoy my sufferings. Nearly 9 hours with your knees virtually against your chest and the indignity of the dreaded knee-length super-tight travel socks, and to be honest, even Homer would have remained bitter. But the pain was worth it because waiting patiently for us was the Seabourn Odyssey. Our first taste of the Odyssey was back in October 2015. At nearly 10 years old, it is the oldest ship in the Seabourn fleet of 5, including the brand new Ovation, the Encore's just-launched sister. The Odyssey had a dry dock makeover in 2017 to refresh its tired areas and bring it up to date with the new bits and bobs that were being installed on the rest of the fleet. But enough about the rather dry facts. Let's jump right in and I'll tell you why you'd be utterly mad not to give Seabourn your children's college fund and their inheritance. The Odyssey is one of 3 Odyssey-class ships on the Seabourn fleet. Its sisters, the Quest and the Sojourn, are virtually identical, although the Quest is structurally modified to do missions to the Antarctic, whereas the other 2 probably wouldn't win a fight with an obstinate ice floe. Layout-wise, though, they are essentially the same. An Odyssey-class ship can carry 450 passengers and 335 crew of exceptional excellence. More about that later. Inside the ship, you could describe it as boutique hotel with uncomplicated decor that is soft and pleasant on the eyes. Some great pieces of art are placed around the public areas and add little pockets of interesting complexity to the simple, clean interior. Seabourn Square is the central information hub of the ship. The guest services desks are here and you can get everything from port and excursion info to ordering an avocado every day for breakfast. Yes, we did that. The square is also home to my favourite part of the ship, the cafe, which keeps us caffeine addicts supplied with our poison along with crafty cake or 3. Here's a secret tip for you. Use the line, "They're not all for me," and then retreat to an area out of the view of the cafe staff. The Grand Salon is the theatre, arranged to look like, well, a Grand Salon, although not like the Grand Salons from the Wild West. There's no horses tied up outside, and there's nobody looking for a punch-up, although you may be served shots of liquor and there may be a person playing a piano. Nope. This is where the singers sing, the dancers dance, and the magicians pull guest-initialed playing cards from the unzipped flies in their pants. True, we saw that. And the comedians attempt to be funny. Sometimes they fail. The observation bar is at the top and the front and is the place for a pre-dinner cocktail. It gets busy but never claustrophobic. The mixologist here will concoct any flavour and any strength of elixir you desire, and it's all included in your fare, so you can have as many as you like too. Be warned though, they learn what you like and they'll keep them coming without you having to ask. This bar is a great place to meet new friends, chat to complete strangers, or simply just sit back and enjoy the heart-melting sunsets. We found the best place to sit was at the bar, not in the comfy lounge seats. You'll meet some great characters with some tall tales at the bar. The club is where you go when the show in the Grand Salon is finished and you haven't had quite enough for one day. The guest band will play, the drinks will flow, and if you've had enough margaritas, your skill at dad dancing will become awfully apparent. Just hope that everyone else in the room will be too hungover to remember your ridiculous floor show the next day. Our suite was one of the lowly guarantee rooms you roll the dice with when you pay the lowest fare, which is what we did. All the veranda suites are the same layout and size, apart from the few larger ones on deck 10, so the pricing strategy is one of where on the ship your suite is. By booking guarantee, you cannot choose where you are. It is allocated to you around 2 weeks before you cruise. If you don't mind being on a low deck and not midships, this is by far the most economical way of travelling Seabourn style. Luckily, we were allocated a midships, partly sheltered balcony suite on deck 5. Low and central. It couldn't have been more perfect for our preference. The sheltered balcony is just a balcony with a metal lower section rather than being all glass. It really doesn't retract from your balcony experience at all. Ours was also one of those dreaded connected suites with a door into the next suite. Don't panic if you get one of these. This wasn't a problem for us, our neighbours were quiet and friendly. I should say the door is locked and soundproof, so it's not a common occurrence that your neighbours will pop through to use your loo if theirs is indisposed. More importantly, they can't nip through and nick your pillow chocolates when you're at the show either. There are plenty of outside areas to doze off that champagne cocktail session from the night before. Hot tubs are situated at the front, in the middle, and at the rear of the ship. The front of the ship is the quietest area, but for good reason. It can get windier than a baked bean eating champion's colon out there. The rear pool is another quiet area for the right reasons. The pool is smaller and there's plenty of shade, although one side is a smoking area, so for those like us that don't care for passive smoking, it does restrict where you can lounge. I suppose we just prefer the bustle of the main pool area in the middle of the ship. If your guilty pleasure is people watching, then this is the place to be. As with any other cruise line, with Seabourn you get a plentiful array of characters on board, from posers and preeners, 1664s, sun worshippers, and very occasionally a loud person with lambs. That stands for look at me syndrome. Although thankfully not often. There's plenty to interest your inquisitive eyes if peeking over the pages of your novel is your thing. This is where Seabourn have really upped their game since the last time we were on Odyssey. To our delight, we were sailing under the almost impossibly fabulous Captain Geir Arne to Nielsen, or Captain GA as he's more conveniently referred to. This was the captain that so enchanted us on the quests, and from a guest viewpoint, this Nordic Seabourn veteran of 23 years has the staff and guests eating out of his hand. He has a genuine and natural humour about him, and he is constantly seen around the ship laughing and conversing with guests and crew. And this enthusiasm for his ship and crew is infectious, and it reflects in the quality and performance of the staff working for him. It can't have been easy being a Seabourn crew member in the last couple of years. The Encore and now the Ovation have literally sucked the heart out of this tight-knit, finely tuned bunch as they seek to expand the total crew numbers by another 800. That's a massive number of skilled Seabourn calibre bodies to find, and it must have left critical shortages in every area on the Odyssey-class triplets. It is a wonder then how they managed to pull together a ship's company that feels as warm, accommodating and sufficient as before the days of the two big new crew-hungry vessels. Yep, they know your name. They learn what you like. They are a pleasure to be around. They make you not want to leave, they make you want to come back as soon as you can afford the time and fare, and they make you feel special. They are tolerant and kind to rude customers, and are even kinder and more generous to those who appreciate them. In such a tough service industry, they are by a wide margin Seabourn's biggest and most valuable asset. I could literally gush on for ages, but I'll resist. If you've experienced the wonderful Seabourn crew yourself, please feel free to gush away as we finish this roll call of a few I managed to dupe into smiling at my camera. Do you know these brilliant people? Leave a comment below if you do. Well, that's all we have time for in part 1 of this two-parter on the Seabourn Odyssey in the Caribbean. I'll leave you now to listen to this fabulous steel band that came on board, and keep watching, because there might be somebody you know in the following clips. Also, if you wait until the end, we have a small preview of what you can expect in part 2. If you've liked what you've seen, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It really goes a long way, and it will make sure that you don't miss any future episodes. Thank you.